It's the 1987 NCAA Basketball Championship. From the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, it's the Houston Cougars against the Jayhawks of Kansas. Today's game is brought to you in part by the Rawlings Sporting Goods Company, maker of the official ball of the NCAA Basketball Championships, and by Pizza Hut, America's favorite pizza place.
Today's first-round NCAA tournament game is brought to you locally by Kansas Beer Distributors, dispensers of Budweiser, the genuine article, and Bud Light. Don't just ask for a light, Bud Light.
And welcome now to the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, and first-round action in the Southeast Regional. Hello, everybody. I'm Fred White. Our analyst today is Joe Dean. And, Joe, we've already seen an upset down here, if you want to call it that. Southwest Missouri State, in their first trip ever to the tournament, has taken out Clemson. Now, two tournament-tested teams. Kansas making their 17th visit to the NCAA, number 16 for Houston. How do you see this thing today?
Kansas wants to really push the ball up and down the court. They want to break. They got the aircraft carrier, a guy named Manning. He's All-American, can do it all. Houston wants to play a half-court game. They want to slow it down. They want to do what Southwest Missouri did in that first game against Clemson. Time will tell who can make the tempo the way they want it to be.
Houston may come into this thing a little bit loose. They really didn't expect to be here. It was down to either-or situation for them on Sunday, and they got in the tournament, and they may come in here fairly loose this afternoon.
Well, that's true. Had Washington knocked off UCLA, Washington would have been in instead of Houston. But you're right about Houston. They've been up and down. Coach Pat Foster knows it. He had success at Lamar in the NCAA tournament. He's going to play a little of a gimmick defense here today. They normally, Fred, are man-to-man, get after you, make a lot of things happen. They know they've got to shut Manning down to have any chance to win.
So the matchup here in the Omni again in first-round action in the Southeast Regional. Kansas against Houston. We'll be back to meet the starting lineups and have the tip-off for today's game right after you watch this. Kansas is in at 23-10, Houston in at 18-11, and they are set to match up here again in Southeast Regional action. First round action at the Omni in Atlanta. Time now to meet the starting lineups. Let's join public address announcer Marshall Mann.
Ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineups for the second game of the Southeast Regionals. At one forward for the Houston Cougars, 6'10" senior from Houston, Texas, number 54, Greg Anderson. Kansas Jayhawks at forward, a 6'11" junior from Lawrence, Kansas, number 25, Danny Manning. At the other forward for Houston, a 6'8" senior from Houston, number 41, Ricky Winslow. At forward for Kansas, a 6'8" junior from Lawrence, Kansas, number 24, Chris Piper. At center for Houston, a 7'1" junior from Sao Paulo, Brazil, number 33, Roland Vieira. At center for Kansas, a 6'9" sophomore from Parsons, Kansas, number 10, Mark Palak. At one guard for Houston, a 6'3" freshman from Chicago, Illinois, number 3, Randy Brown. At guard for Kansas, a 6'3" freshman from Tulsa, Oklahoma, number 14, Kevin Pritchard. At guard for Houston, a 6'1" sophomore from Alvin, Texas, number 10, Tim Hobby. At guard for Kansas, a 6-foot senior from Omaha, Nebraska, number 22, Cedric Hunter. The head coach of the Houston Cougars is Pat Foster. The head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks is Larry Brown. The officials for this game are Paul Hausman, Ben Dunn, and Dave.
So there you have the starters and you have the coaches, Larry Brown and Pat Foster. We're just about set to play. We'll be back with the tip-off right after you watch this. Well, the magic time of March is upon us again, Joe Dean, in college basketball. It's such an exciting time of the year, and excitement remains in the air. What a great job Southwest Missouri State turned in Game 1 today when they beat Clemson 65-60.
Isn't it amazing when they say it's tourney time, everybody plays it a little closer to the vest. The good shot becomes tougher, and you see the officials here.
Paul Hausman, Dave Libby, and Ben Dunn are the three officials for this afternoon's second game. Again, Kansas making their 17th NCAA appearance. They've been in 7 Final Fours. Houston in for the 16th time. They've been in 3 Final Fours. Their last time in, they lost to Georgetown in the '84 championship game, 84-75. Kansas last year taken out by Duke in the semifinal round of the Final Four. Houston on the attack first. Brown with the basketball.
Kansas has opened up man-to-man defensively, and they're playing very good pressure. Anderson is the main gun for Houston. He's being guarded underneath by number 40, Mark Pellick.
Cedric Hunter has Brown. There's Fiera taking the shot from the circle that's in and out. He has pretty good range for a fellow his size. He's 7'1", a junior from Sao Paulo, Brazil. They misfire on the first attempt, and Kansas with a basketball. Pellick to Pritchard to Cedric Hunter.
Of course, Cedric Hunter is the all-time assist leader, and he's looking at a gimmick defense, it looks like. They're trying to front and back. Manning on the inside, and they're playing a diamond sort of a matchup with the other 3 guys in his own defense. So they know Manning's the key.
Ricky Winslow's been following Manning around. Now they lob to nowhere.
In fact, Pellick, no one was even guarding him. He could have turned around and shot the little 15-footer. They just backed away and said, we're going to let you have it because you're not scoring that many points, only 2-8 a game, and we're going to shut down the star, the All-American, Danny Manning.
So Houston misses a shot. Kansas turns it over. Now Anderson, he's a good athlete, but he turns and misses. Manning clears the rebound. Hunter's going to push it up. Kansas has them outnumbered right now, 4-3, and Pritchard fires near the baseline and misses. Pellick with a big, strong offensive rebound, takes it up and scores. Mark Pellick gets the first 2 points in the basketball game for Kansas.
Well, you saw Kansas push it like we told you. They got it down the court. Pritchard got the good shot, couldn't get it to go, but great offensive board work.
Watch Hunter play defense out here with those long arms. He has 39-inch sleeve length.
He's matched up against Brown. Brown is the guy that Pat Foster likes. He's gutty and gives you everything he has.
Hobby fires, he's a good shooter. That one's off the rim, and Manning picks off his second rebound, and Hunter starts to push it immediately. Now they're up 3-on-3. Pritchard on the wing. Back outside it comes to Cedric Hunter.
Well, they're surrounding Manning on the inside.
Kansas looks a little uncertain on the attack right here.
I'm not sure what they're looking at defensively there. That's Winslow and Anderson both trying to guard Manning.
Well, they have Pellick wide open. The shot won't fall for him, and now Houston comes away with it. Down 2-0. Cougars on the attack. Randy Brown, the point guard with the basketball. Cedric Hunter matched up with him. Hobby against Pritchard. Manning guarding Fiera. The ball comes to Fiera. The turnaround jump shot good, and Rolando Fiera picks up 2 to tie the ball game.
He's played on the Brazilian national team. It looks like he's not afraid to put it up. You can see the defense here as you come up court on your screen, and right there they got Winslow and Anderson both, and they're really creating some problems for Manning so far.
Jump shot, Pritchard off the front of the rim. He's missed 2 tries. And in a hurry, Ricky Winslow pushes it up for Houston.
They'll just push it down to see if the defense gets back. If not, they really like to play a half-court game.
Randy Brown, Ricky Winslow out on the wing. Piper picked him up. Anderson clears to Brown. There's Hunter all over him with those arms. Got a deflection. The ball is out of bounds. They're looking at one another. It's going to be Houston basketball. It was deflected up there by Hunter. He just flips those long arms out there, and there's always a little more than you think there's going to be.
Larry Brown up, checking the action. Very successful coach at Kansas. 148 wins, just 49 losses. Of course, you know his career, mostly in the pros.
Ricky Winslow. Looked down in there at Anderson. Couldn't get him the basketball. Off the baseline. Brown had it stripped out of there. Cedric Hunter up, making a run at Winslow. He's going to go by. Throws it up. Hits it up. Kansas just storming the board. Piper's got it back up. In and out. And Kansas can't get a shot down early.
Cedric Hunter. Freddie didn't have it, Cedric Hunter. He went 1 against 2 and really threw up a bad shot. Not a good percentage cut. Looks like, though, from Larry Brown, he has the green light totally.
Kansas having tough shooting luck early in the ball game. There's Pat Foster, the Houston coach, first year at Houston, and he has changed the tempo that you're used to seeing out of the Houston basketball team. They're only giving up 60 points a ball game this year.
They run that motion offense where they pass and pick away, and Kansas is trying to trap out of their defense.
Brown down inside. Anderson turnaround shot is good.
Pat Foster has read to me before the game. He's the guy that's got to have the big game for us. He's got to score and he has to board. He's the 9th leading rebounder in the country. And that's Big Greg Anderson for Houston.
He's averaging 18 points, 11 rebounds a ball game.
That's a lot of boards.
He's had 15 double-doubles this year. Aiden's in double figures, rebounding and scoring. Pritchard, who had a wide open, now steps in a little closer and almost lost the ball. Then he turns and fires and hits.
Scored off of a loose ball because they are really struggling to get it to him. You could see where Pritchard was wide open, but the Kansas outside perimeter people are really kind of struggling wanting to put the ball up.
Kansas having some tough shooting luck, and Pritchard a little uncertain. Fiera now misses. That's Anderson. Sloan with the rebound and sticks it back.
Oh, he showed you why he's an all-conference player. 3rd scorer in the league in the Southwest Conference. Great power move.
Kansas has hit just 2 out of their first 7 shots in this basketball game, and they're down by 2 points early to Houston. Cedric Hunter. There's Pritchard. Now he turns and fires. That was off the rim, and he's 0 for 3 in the ball game.
They're going to have to hit outside if they're going to get that gimmick defense to come out and play them honest.
Just like Western movies, when you got the bad guys all over you, somebody's got to help shoot them off your back. Huh?
No question about it. It'll be a shootout here. Kansas on the year is only shooting about 35% from the three-point range, but they've been a good shooting team. A little over 51% on the year.
Shot won't fall for Manning that time. I saw Mark Georgian check into the ball game there for Kansas, the senior from Topeka's Hayden High School. This is his 4th NCAA tournament. No other Kansas Jayhawk has ever played in 4 NCAAs. Mark Turgeon, the only one. Houston up by 2 with the basketball. And now there's going to be a foul in the lane. It's going to go against Rolando Fiera. He's playing with a broken nose. He has a couple of black eyes. See the little black marks under his eyes right there. Timeout here. We have 14:39 left in our first house. And Houston leading Kansas by 2.
Well, you see Pritchard for Kansas here. Getting ready to shoot the jumper. The defense came at him hurriedly. He tries to kick it to Manning. Manning wasn't expected it, but the All-American picked up the loose ball and came back and drilled it home. Beautiful shot. And he's the assistant coach at Kansas, and of course that's Danny Manning's father.
Ed Manning. Danny Manning may not be expecting it, but he sure knows what to do with it.
Oh, when he gets it, he knows exactly where the basket's hanging. And Big Manning, the father, Big Ed Manning, was a heck of a player himself. And you see the field goal shooting percentages. Houston 3 of 7. Kansas a very poor 2 of 9. And they just cannot hit that outside shot. You see how they're really double teaming in there? That's Winslow and Anderson, the 2 red shirted guys there against Manning, who's now come all the way to the outside trying to get the ball.
Kansas is 2 for 9, and they're a good shooting team, Joe. They're shooting 52% from the floor for the year. There's a deflection. Great save by Randy Brown. Up to McCarthy and on to Winslow for the stop. Oh, Brown made a great save for Houston, and the Cougars go up by 4.
Of course, Kansas have been shooting well because they've been getting good shots in tight and in close. As a perimeter shooting team, they've not really been all that fantastic. As I mentioned, just 35% on three-point shooting.
Winslow committed a foul as the ball came inside. He was slapping at the basketball, got some of Manning, but you can see Houston so aware of the ball about to come into Manning. They're all over it.
Got Winslow in front, Anderson in back, and they're gambling that the other people can't beat them. And Coach Pat Foster right there. He's up directing traffic, and oh, what success he's had. He was at Lamar. In his career, wins and losses is 152 and 60.
Mark Turgeon now is going to direct the Kansas attack for a moment. Now he gets it up to Hunter and goes to the wing, and Piper fires from the baseline, drills it. Chris Piper picks up 2, the 6'8" junior from Lawrence. Good defensive player, not that big a scorer, averaging 7 a game, but he gives them some early help here. And now it's 8-6, Houston by 2, and Mark Turgeon's going to be called for a foul. They are really putting pressure on the Houston point guard, trying to disrupt the offense.
And Houston's in a 1-4 offensive set with a double stack, and as Brown, who Pat Foster really likes, he thinks he's gutty and tough. He's just a freshman. They'll spread out very quickly to get the entry pass to get the motion offense started.
Turgeon just committed that foul. Another note on him. This is his 131st game in a Kansas uniform. That ties him for the most games ever played by a Kansas player. Rookie Winslow down inside, dumps it to Anderson, and the turnaround jumper high off the ball. Pella clears the rebound, almost traveled, but gives it up to Hunter. And Kansas getting it up quickly. Turgeon's going to fire, and that's a two-point shot, and it's good. Mark Turgeon hits his first two in the basketball game.
He held his arms up. He thought it was a three-point shot. He's the number 2 shooter on this team from three-point range, as far as attempts are concerned, so he's not afraid to put it up.
Game is tied at 8. Kansas doesn't shoot that much from three-point range. They're trying to the game. Kansas made a horrible mistake, and MacArthur cut left all alone underneath for an easy 2.
Of course, Kansas plays such good ball defense. The ball was kicked around a little bit on the left side, and the defense moved all the way across, and they left the player wide open underneath. And, of course, that was number 14, Darryl MacArthur.
Joe Houston only attempts 3 three-point shots a game, so that particular shot may not be that much of a factor. Piper misses. Up comes MacArthur. He's going to push it. Down the lane he goes, and a foul is going to go against Kansas.
And they said he was on the floor, not shooting. A rare pushing of the ball up the court here by Houston. Not really their game. They've only averaged 68 points a game on the season, but they picked up the long rebound. The opportunity was there, and they tried to take advantage of it.
So you got to give credit to Danny Manning for hustle that time, but when you only have 5 fouls to spend, that's not one you want to spend right there in that situation, a reaching foul.
Because he really got back down court, thinking that they had maybe an easy layup, and he was accurate.
MacArthur with the basketball. Now Brown. Winslow from outside, and he drills it. Ricky Winslow has 4, and Houston going well early. They're up by 4 points over Kansas here with 12:08 left in the first half.
Winslow's one of those rugged players himself. He started his 123rd game here today for the Houston Cougars, and because he's number 2 in scoring on this team, he can make it happen.
You know, he's only one of only 3 players in the NCAA tournament this year that ever started in a championship game. Reggie Williams and Tommy Amaker have all started in a NCAA championship game.
And most people would love just to start one of them.
Yes. MacArthur. Vieira. Dump inside to Anderson. He's fouled by Pellet.
Beautiful pass by the big guy underneath. Looked like he had a beautiful 12-footer. He dropped it off underneath. Let's look at it again from another angle. Right here, they're going to give it to Vieira. He turns around to shoot and drops it underneath. Right here to Anderson. Good foul, because it was a cinch layup.
Kansas now has Mark Randall in the game, a 6'9" freshman from Cherry Creek High School in Englewood, Colorado. He replaces Mark Pellet. Anderson's free throw in and out.
Mark Randall's the young man that was so heavily recruited. The world went after him, and Kansas landed him, and he hasn't quite fulfilled all the expectations, but Larry Brown tells me that he's a good inside player, and he has great hook.
Now you saw Steve Harris checking also. The free throw doesn't go. So Anderson didn't help with many at the free throw line that time. It's still 12-8 Houston. Hunter had a notion, didn't shoot the basketball. Harris tried to feed it inside to Randall, taken away by Anderson, and Houston still up by 4 with the basketball.
Trying to throw it into the teeth of that 2-man zone defense, so to speak, against Manning on the inside. Wouldn't work.
Now, Hunter picks it off, and he's going to take the layup. Oh, nice fake with the basketball.
Fake right, the defense went for it. Beautiful play.
Cedric Hunter simply looked him off that time, took a look at Pritchard, then went to the bucket and scored his first 2 points. 12-10, Houston by 2 now. 10:52 left in first half action here in the Omni. Earlier today, Southwest Missouri State beat Clemson 65-60. So the winner of this one will play Southwest Missouri State on Sunday. Anderson took it to the floor and lost it. Pritchard picked it off, takes it to the circle, takes the jump shot, drilled it. The game is tied.
Oh, that's a transition Kansas wants. Larry Brown up, loved it. They brought it to the defense and got the great shot right at the foul line.
Pat Foster didn't like what he saw there. He takes timeout. This one comes with 10:32 left in the first half of this game. It's a tie now. Kansas and Houston all knotted at a dozen. This telecast is presented by authority of the NCAA. And any use of this program without written consent is prohibited. The announcers for this program have been approved and contracted by NCAA Productions. Transportation arrangements provided through Fugazi International Travel, the official travel agency for the NCAA Championships.
Kansas defense has been very, very aggressive. It's been man-to-man. It's been tenacious. They've stayed after it. You see Coach Larry Brown there directing traffic. And they've kind of taken Houston out of their offense, really. They love to break the defense down, run their motion game, but they're very aggressive. Kansas defense has forced a couple of turnovers and resulted in a couple of baskets. We've got a tie game.
MacArthur against Pritchard. Good job by Pritchard. Made him give it up. Comes back outside. Now Brewer. Or Belcher, rather. Stacy Belcher with the basketball. MacArthur turned around. Jump shot off the front of the rim. Picked off the floor by Manning. On to Turgeon, and Turgeon's going to push it up. Kansas really likes to press that attack. Turgeon had a notion. Now fires to Pritchard.
Impressed with the Kansas defense, though. They good pressure, and they've gotten a lot of help. You can still see that defense against Manning.
Kansas throws it away. Jayhawks turn it over with 9:46 left in the first half. The game still tied at 12. Ricky Jackson now running the Houston offense on the point against Turgeon. Manning got a hand on it, knocked it loose. It's taken out of there by Kansas.
But good defense again, good quick hands, and give Manning the credit. Houston not able to get shots here in the last 3 minutes of this first half.
Well, Manning really wanted the ball. They just can't get it down inside to him. Off the baseline, Randall fires, misses, gets it back. Back outside it comes to Pritchard. Manning has 2 points in this ball game, and it came off a loose ball, not a loose ball situation, but a broken shot. When Pritchard went in the air and then decided not to shoot and fired the ball down to him. Randall walked.
That defense is totally geared to take him out of this game. And so far, with 9:05 to go in the first half, that's exactly what it's done. Pat Foster's told me before the game, it's a little bit of a gimmick. We normally like to play man-to-man. We got to shut the All-American down, and so far they have.
You saw Milton Newton just check into the game for Kansas. He's been a good shooter and a good scorer off the bench for him. Hobby with the basketball now for Houston. Denny Manning's only had 2 shots and hit 1 bucket, and that's just not enough shots. They're going to have to get more than that. Well, Purdue is on the board. They took Northeastern out. Northeastern shows up in the NCAA pretty frequently, don't they?
They really do, and they gave Purdue all they wanted. A 9-point game. Bad shot, air ball. Good defense by Manning.
And here comes Kansas on the run again, and Pritchard's going to take it to the bucket and score.
Couldn't tell if he walked or not. He took some giant steps getting in there, but there was that transition game again after a steal by Manning, and they have really taken Houston out of their offense right now. They're not getting good shots.
4 points for Pritchard, and Kansas has a 2-point lead. The second lead of the game. There's the steal. Racing up court is Newton. They will take the drive every time, and Newton scores.
Oh, they're pushing it to the defense. Kansas looks razor sharp right now, Fred.
If you're in a red uniform, you better expect the guy with the ball to go to the basket.
That's right. You better get back defensively. But it's been the quickness of hands. They've made steals and forced turnovers.
Jayhawks up by 4. Hobby misses. Pritchard grabs the rebound. 7:59 left in the first half, and Kansas really on the attack. Now they get Manning loose on the baseline, and he has 4.
Oh, that fast break game is really paying dividends. Pat Foster of Houston wants timeout, and he wants to talk about it. It's a good timeout for his team. They're not playing well.
The Jayhawks on a roll have gone up by a half dozen points. Timeout here. 7:51 left in our first half. 18-12. Kansas leading Houston, and we'll be back after you watch this.
You're going to see Hobby here for Houston, their great three-point shooter. He can't get it to go, and Pritchard's going to take the rebound. Watch him push it now. He's really going to bring it to the defense. Look at Manning filling the left lane. He spreads out. Spacing was good. Timing was good. And, oh, can he stick it in the bottom of the sack? You talk about string music. He's got a symphony going, this big guy. He just can't get the ball enough. It's 10 unanswered points now by Kansas. They were down 12-8. They've scored 10 straight points, and it's all been defense.
So just think about that Purdue win. I don't know if it's true or not, but most people will tell you that in this NCAA tournament the last few years, the Big Ten Conference has been the underachiever and the Southeast the overachiever.
I think that's true. Probably the Southeast Conference, just one of the great kept secrets maybe in the country. But Big Ten, they get a lot of publicity. It's a great league, but Illinois got knocked off last night by a little school called Austin Peay out of Clarksville, Tennessee.
Just an 8-footer at the gun. Could have kept him in the tournament. Jim Norman's shot wouldn't fall, and the Illini fell instead. Ricky Winslow goes to the line, a 6'8" senior from Houston Yates, and started in that championship game in '84 against Georgetown. He has 5 points today now. Temple advances. They beat Southern today 75-56, and there's a team to keep your eye on. It's a nice club, Joe.
Not a lot of depth, as we mentioned, but they've got a great starting five. They won the Atlantic 10, knocking off West Virginia in the championship game, and you're right. They're one of those schools, and there's a lot of parity this year, that could make it to the Final Four.
I'll give you a stat on Temple that amazes me. They're averaging 9.5 turnovers a game. They really take care of the ball. Led the nation in that category the last few years.
You see that defense got caked by Houston. They still are trying to shut Manning down.
Hunter foul by Tim Hobby as the ball comes in the lane. Hobby picks up his first foul. Kansas has been called for 4 team fouls. Houston's third.
They need to do more of that, more penetration against the gimmick defense. Maybe that'll open it up a little bit for Manning. And you see Coach Pat Foster. At Lamar, he went to the NCAA tournament twice and to 4 NITs, so he had great success there in the Southland Conference, and he won that championship in that league 4 times. This is his first year, of course, with the Houston Cougars. Because when the guy looks, Fred, we knew what that Houston team, great story there. And
guy was the only coach he'd ever had until this year. Pellick off balance, fires the jump shot, and he's fouled by Randy Brown. First on Brown, the 4th on Houston. Brown, a freshman from Chicago's Collins High School.
We'll show it to you again. Bounce pass underneath. Head and shoulder fake. Kept showing him the ball. Wasn't much to the call. Probably should have left it alone. Let him play, they say.
A lot of people will tell you that Randy Brown has been the difference for Houston down the stretch. He started 6 of the last 7 ball games, and some people tell you the Cougars have really played very, very well with him running the ball for them. Mark Pellick's free throw. Good. He came out of high school a year early. Mark Pellick. He's from Parsons, Kansas, a 6'9 sophomore. Such a good student, he passed his last year in school.
You see his numbers there. Kansas has lost 3 of their last 5 and 4 of their last 8, so they've been kind of inconsistent at the tail end of the season, so they need a good game here to get them some momentum if they have any chance to making some noise here in the big show.
Vieira right back to Tim Hobby. Hobby from Alvin, Texas, Nolan Ryan's hometown. 6'1 sophomore. You mentioned his three-point shooting. He's 54% from three-point range. Winslow goes for a kiss and gets an air ball. Out of bounds to Kansas.
They're not getting good shots. That Kansas defense is completely taking their offense away from them. They're not able to do the things they want to do. They've had tremendous pressure on them when they have put it up.
Jayhawks up by 5 with 6:27 left in the first half. Houston grabbed the lead early, got up by 4, and maintained it for a while, but Kansas, behind that defense, has come back. Manning, cross court to Pritchard, back in front to Hunter. Good ball movement, baseline Manning, good touch pass to Piper, and the shot loops in and out.
Oh, I love the pass. He knew he was surrounded, and he kicked it out to get the good shot. They got it, just couldn't get it to go down.
Danny Manning is a finalist for the Rupp Award. There's Vieira hitting his second shot. He has 4 points. David Robinson of Navy won the Naismith Award. It was announced last night. Manning a finalist for the Rupp Award. He's the all-time scoring leader at Kansas, by the way. He has passed Clyde Lavella.
Big Clyde Lavella. Played on those great teams with Bill Hoagland, who lives in Wichita, and one of my old teammates of years gone by.
It's a great tradition of Kansas. Piper hits the jump shot off the baseline, and he has 4. Larry Brown is only the 6th coach in the history of Kansas. The first one was a fellow named Dr. James Naismith.
Paul Gallen, great tradition at Kansas, and of course, 4th winningest program in the history of collegiate basketball.
You may know this. Dr. Naismith was the only losing coach in the history of the University of Kansas.
Record. But he's the guy that invented this game. MacArthur back in.
Paul Gallen coached Dean Smith, Ralph Miller, and a fellow named Adolph Rupp.
And of course, Dean Smith, one of our legendary coaches now, is a Kansas graduate and played for Paul Gallen on those Clyde Lavella teams.
Outside the Vieira.
Pressure.
Dean Smith was in a game against North Carolina. It was a triple overtime national championship game that North Carolina won.
That was against Wilt Chamberlain, I think, wasn't it?
In Kansas City, I believe, in Municipal Auditorium. 5 minutes left in the first half here.
Fred, I think Dean Smith had graduated because that was about 1950.
You're right. He played in the earlier game.
Three-pointer. Richard
hits a three-pointer.
And Dean Smith's not that young. Let's give him his time. Turnover covers Houston 7 times, and the defense has forced it.
That game was in 1957. You're right. It's triple overtime.
57, right. Pat Foster has to be concerned that his defense, his offense is really struggling against such tremendous man-to-man defensive pressure. They've helped out well defensively, the Kansas team. They've played the ball well. When it goes inside, they swarm it. Houston trying to run that motion, and you see Pat Foster there, the head coach of the Houston Cougars, up directing traffic, trying to get something going. He trails 24-16 and have not looked good in the last 7 or 8 minutes.
Foul was on Mark Pellick, his second, and now Pritchard's called for one. So Kansas committing some fouls now in rapid-fire fashion. That's the first on Kevin Pritchard.
And that's the 16 fouls. So from this point on, Houston will go to the line and shoot 1-1, and Houston is shooting about 62% at the foul on the year, which is not very good.
The Cougars have committed 4 team fouls themselves. Kansas won a national championship in '52. They beat St. John's in the championship game. Lost to Indiana in the championship game in '53. Traveling call. Kansas gets it back. Jayhawks up by 8 with 4:25 left in the first half.
It was a good shot there. You could see Anderson come along that baseline. They didn't shut him off quick enough, but the weak side help was tremendous, and they just really swarmed him and made it impossible for him to shoot or make the good pass, and you see the Kansas lead.
Pritchard. Randy Brown got off to shut him down, and Pritchard takes it to the lane and scores.
Excellent penetration.
Pritchard got it off to a tough shooting start, but he now has 9 points. He's hit a 3-point goal and 3 2-point goals. And Kansas has a 10-point lead here, and they have stopped Houston cold.
They're not even getting good shots at all right now.
Houston has been outscored 18-4. And they turn it over. Do you ever see a run in basketball or any other sport, I suppose, that wasn't started by your defense?
Oh, that's where it starts. You play the good D, everything works from there. You can force turnovers. It helps your running game, builds confidence, and that's what the Kansas Jayhawk team is. Excellent defending team, and they look razor sharp, and they're on an 18-4 run right now.
Ricky Jackson back in the ball game now for Houston. Pat Foster still trying to find the combination and can get it going for him. Pritchard way out front with it now.
Really not his defense that's created the problem. It's that his offense can't manage the defensive pressure of Kansas.
Piper down the lane, Pellick doesn't fake, takes it up, and he got stuck. And the ball comes out to Houston. Winslow brings it out of there. He and Anderson teamed to block the shot that time.
Well, the ball went inside. They both left Manning because that's who they're guarding, both of them. And good rejection, good team defense.
3:19 left in the first half of this basketball game. Again, the winner will play Southwest Missouri State on Sunday. The Bears knocked off Clemson. That's a 3-point goal for Ricky Jackson. So Pat Foster pushed the right button that time when he brought him off the bench, and now it's 26-19 Kansas with 3 minutes left in the first half. Pritchard. Boy, he's hot. He missed his first 3 shots, and now he has really found his stroke.
He feels it. He wants the ball, and he's looking for the shot.
Pritchard now has 11 points, and there's another turnover. Piper gets it up to Pritchard. He and Hunter go 2-on-1, and he got it. Woo, tough shot.
Again, turnover.
Pritchard now is at 6 out of 9. He missed 3, and he's got a 6-shot run going at the moment. He's at 6 straight.
Well, he did what you said, Fred. He just took it to the basket. He could have passed it to the right, but he laid it in, and it was under pressure. Tough shot.
13 points now for Kevin Pritchard. Down inside it comes. Pellick had a hand on it. He's going to be called for a foul. He hung on a little bit too long that time, and Pellick draws his 3rd personal foul. Joe, there's an old adage about shooters, and Pritchard certainly is one. Shoot if you're hot, and if you're not hot, shoot till you get hot.
And the good shooters believe that, and of course, Pritchard really shot himself into being just an excellent shooter in this game. He's had tendinitis in his knee, and he's about a 40% shooter from 3-point range. He made the all-freshman team, and of course, he's the #1 3-point shooter as far as attempts are concerned on his team, so Coach Larry Brown has pretty much given him the green light.
Anderson's free throw good. He has 5 points. The 6'10 senior from Houston's Worthing High School. So Anderson now has a half dozen points with 2 minutes 18 seconds left in first half action here in the Omni. Kansas leading Houston 30-21. The Jayhawks fell behind early in the ball game, then came storming back to lead by 10. At the moment, up by 9. Cedric Hunter with the basketball. And a big story has been Kevin Pritchard. He has 13 first half points after missing his first 3 shots. He's now hit 6 in a row for Kansas.
Looks like Houston's gone to just a straight 2-3 zone defense now. They've gone away from the gimmick defense because they have Anderson out of the game right now.
Kansas taking a little time with it now. Manning to Hunter. Manning has been quiet, has 4 points in the first half, but Pritchard has really picked up the slack. Pritchard out on the wing, down inside it comes. Randall with a turnaround fadeaway off the baseline. Blocked that time. Pierre and Anderson were in there. And back comes Houston now. The Cougars down by 9 with 1:32 left in the first half. Jackson works against Hunter. Deep on the wing they go with it now to Grant. And Randall comes up with the ball. Up to Harris. They threw it back. Intended for Manning. Picked off there by Pritchard. And he's fouled. Boy, the guy with the basketball is going to get the shot off that fast break, Joe.
Another bad pass by the Houston Cougars. And, of course, here comes big Greg Anderson back in for Houston. They made the steal. Watch it right here. Just good, quick hands by Mark Randall. He kicks it up court. For some reason, they threw it backwards, and they weren't expecting it, but here comes Pritchard.
So was that a backcourt violation?
It could have been awfully close. It was awfully close.
I wondered when they threw that pass. It was a bad pass.
I couldn't see who they were trying to throw the ball to, but it went by him. But it doesn't matter because Pritchard here makes the front end of a 1-and-1.
They were trying to get the ball to Manning, went by him, and Pritchard picked it up. Pritchard now has 14 points. Piper back in for Kansas. Randall will come out. Kevin Pritchard looking for his 15th point. Having a good first half here, and he's got it.
And he's only averaging 9-7 a game, so he's really doing it.
Jayhawks up by 11 with 1:15 left in the first half.
Still in this man pressure defense.
Another missed shot for Houston. Piper picks the rebound off the floor, and here comes Manning on the dribble with the basketball.
Boy, Kansas really blocking off the board well.
Harris drills one from the baseline. First 2 points for Keith Harris. The freshman from Santa Monica, California, puts Kansas up by 13 points now. When the Jayhawks were down 12-8, they lead 34-21.
They just didn't get back real good defensively and get set up that time, Houston. It cost them.
Winslow. Ricky Jackson. Now MacArthur. Houston very hesitant on the offense right now. The Kansas defense has stopped them, and now that's a turnover.
Another bad pass. The defense has completely destroyed them.
Run by Rolando Fiera out of bounds. The Kansas fans liking the first half so far. 30 seconds left in this half. Kansas up by 13 with the basketball. They're going to take the last shot, it looks like.
And they should. 23 seconds, 22 as you can see on your screen, and they spread into a 3-2, and they want to get that last shot. And boy, they have looked sharp here the first half.
Time to start the attack. 10 seconds left in the half. Hunter starts to move the basketball. Jackson jumps at him. He picks it up, gives to Pritchard on the wing. 2 seconds left in the half. Off-balance try was blocked, and that's going to be the end of the half. And Kansas has had a good first half. The Jayhawks take a 13-point lead at halftime here in the Omni. Larry Brown, I think, thinks his man was fouled as a shot went in the air that time. But the Jayhawks at one time down 12-8 came storming back and outscored them 26-9 in that stretch. So at halftime, it's 34-21. Kansas up by 13. We're back after this message and a word from your local station. This is an NCAA Productions telecast. We're up halftime again. Kansas up by 13 points. I want to steal just a minute here to talk about my colleague, Joe Dean. Joe, as you may know, has now accepted the athletic director's job at his school, LSU, his alma mater. He's been a great friend of basketball for so long. We've done this a number of times together. I've always enjoyed it. I hate to see you leave television, but you're still going to be very much a part of the scene. But it's going to be a thrill for me to be able to work with you again today.
You're kind. I appreciate it. I did SEC, the Southeastern Conference, for 18 years. Had my wind-up on this floor with the tournament, doing doing 2 games there in the NCAA. We have Bucknell, Georgetown later this evening, and that's it. Showtime is over, and April the 6th, I'll be the LSU athletic director.
You're going to miss spring music.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you.
Talk about this ball game. You know, one thing you're going to tell Dale, he already knows it. Defense.
You're right. It's been all defense. As you said to me before we came on, it was a little bit ragged, but Kansas made it ragged because they played pressure. They did a beautiful job defensively. They got out and got after them. Houston runs the motion, and because they do, they're a little stereotyped in the way they set things up. Kansas and Larry Brown know that, and they've just taken their offense completely away from them. And that conversion from defense to offense has just been tremendous by Kansas, and Pritchard's done it all.
Well, he's had a great first half. Denny Manning only got about 3 shots in that half, but Pritchard really picked up the pace. And in this year of parity, Kansas certainly has to stand as one of the outstanding teams in the country.
And with a guy like Manning, everybody's so concentrating so much on him, and he breaks loose, anything can happen. Truly an All-American player, but he only has 4 points at the half. Shows you that there are some people on Kansas's team that can score as well.
So they were able to get some help for him. Let's take a look at the statistics in the first half of this basketball game. Again, 34-21, Kansas our score. Kansas has shot exactly right on their season average, 52%.
And Houston only 42% on 8 of 19, well below their average. And you see the free throw shooting, 1 for 1 by Houston. And of course they really have. Oh, that was 3-point shooting. I'm sorry. You see the rebounds even, turnovers. Well, that's the defense right there, 12-5. It tells you the whole story. And look at the points on the turnovers.
Yeah, 16 points for Kansas, and it's exactly what you've been talking about throughout the first half. That Kansas defense forcing mistakes, taking advantage of them, and coming from behind. And now some highlights of the first half. Houston here. Anderson put it on the floor. Not a good spot. He lost it.
And Pritchard's pushing it now like they've done all afternoon to the defense, and they didn't pick the ball up quick enough, and so he plays string music, as you said, Fred, from about 17 feet.
Now again, Kansas playing that tough defense. They get it down in the post. Anderson, and back out it comes. Jackson tries for 3 and gets it.
Well, they moved it very well that time. They took it inside, outside, and it worked, but it was another steal by Kansas, and they're pushing it again. And who else? Pritchard.
That is a tough shot right there. And again, Pritchard with an outstanding first half. But Kansas, every time it seems like they've had the guy with the ball has been the guy to go to the bucket off the fast break. They haven't made any passes.
They haven't given it up much. Whoever has it takes it to the basket.
34-21. Kansas leading Houston at halftime here. First round action at the Omni in Atlanta in the Southeast Regional. Kansas up by 13, and we'll be back after you watch this. Kansas, the number 5 seed in the Southeast Regional, having their way with it late in the first half, blowing out to a 34-21 lead here at halftime. And when you talk about defense, just think about the fact that Houston has scored only 21 points in the first half of this basketball game. Individual scoring, pretty good balance for Houston, but just not enough of it. Winslow and Anderson 6 each. Pierre has 4. Both of them from the outside, by the way. A couple of shots from the circle. Jackson 3, MacArthur 2, and nobody in any foul trouble for Houston, as you can see right there. The Kansas scoring. What a half for Kevin Pritchard. His season high is 21 points. He had 15 in the first half here today. Piper and Manning only 4 each. Hunter 2. Newton and Harris 2. So Kevin Pritchard really carried this basketball team offensively in the first half.
We mentioned the 3-point shooting. We kind of maybe goofed it up a little bit for you there at halftime, but you see the Kansas Jayhawks, they're 17-3 when leading at the half, but Houston took 1 3-point shot, and they made it. That was by Jackson. We showed you that on the replay, and Kansas was just 1 of 3. At the free throw line, Houston was 4 of 6, and Kansas was 3 of 4. Pritchard with 15 points, Manning 4 rebounds, and Cedric Hunter had 5 assists in that first game, and he continues to dish it out.
Well, Kansas fought some wars this year. They played Pitt, they played Temple, they played North Carolina, Louisville, Notre Dame, and St. John's. They played 10 of the 64 teams in the tournament this year, and then fought those rugged wars in the Big 8 Conference and lost the tournament championship game to Missouri by 2. Danny Manning, shots in and out. Selleck had a hand on the rebound, could not hold on. And Kansas this year, talk about tested, they played 18 games that were decided by 5 points or less.
And boy, they played the tough schedule. They played Pitt, Temple, North Carolina, Louisville, Notre Dame, St. John's. I mean, you talk about a schedule.
Danny Manning, nice catch. Shots up, partially blocked, it looked like, from behind by Anderson, who takes it away for Houston. Cougars with the basketball.
The thing for Kansas is that they're getting it to Manning. He's had 2 shots already. The great outside shooter for the University of Houston tried to shake and bake a little bit. Fake right, went left, watch him come back. He got a little screen. See him, a little bit of a fake. Tried to get Pritchard off balance. fouled in the act of shooting, he'll shoot a pair.
Larry Brown's first opponent as a Kansas coach was Houston.
Interesting.
So it's back to him here today. They've matched up. This is the third meeting between the two schools in NCAA tournament play. They had split the first two meetings. Tim Hobby picks up his first point of the game, the sophomore from Alvin, Texas. He's been scoring well. He's averaged 11 points a game over his last 5.
At halftime, Larry Brown had to say, let's keep pushing it to their defense. Let's transition basketball. And Pat Foster had to say, we've got to break that defense down. You got to take a better care of the ball.
Cedric Hunter.
Houston's gone back to their traditional man-to-man defense. No gimmicks.
Manning, nice speed in the lane, but a walk. Cedric Hunter caught the ball. They got a little uncertain whether to shoot or dribble, and he wound up in between.
The beauty of Manning is the fact that he can do so many things. He's an excellent passer. He could feel the pressure, and he kicked it with a reverse pass. And, of course, Hunter was wide open, but juggled his feet.
Hobby. Winslow. MacArthur. Hobby had a notion to take one from three-point range, but found Anderson inside. He's fouled. The basket's going to count. And Houston may be mounting a comeback here. 8 points now for Greg Anderson, and the Cougars have scored the first 4 points of this half.
Hobby really made it happen. See him fake the shot. Beautiful pass with the left hand. He stuck it into paint to big Greg Anderson, the guy that I told you when we came on. He has to have the big game if this team's going to win. He's averaging 18-2 a game.
Danny Manning's second personal foul. Anderson's free throw off the rim and rebounded by Kansas. Manning kicked it out of there. Hunter's going to push it up. He's got Piper on the baseline. Now Manning. Down inside, Manning with a quick turnaround shot is good, and he has a half dozen points now.
I don't know if they can play him one-on-one straight up and handle him. I think he can almost score at will. He has his touch is that good.
Hunter takes it away from MacArthur, picks it off the deck, takes the drive, reverse layup, doesn't go. Pellick has it, goes back up, is blocked by Anderson. Boy, Anderson doing a job defensively.
Hunter should have really backed it out and get himself a little more of an angle because they had a 2-on-1 situation, but he didn't give it up. Again, Kansas, whoever has the ball, takes it to the basket.
18:05 left in the basketball game. Hobby from outside, shots in and out. Piper had it, and he's fouled. Winslow banged into him and draws his second personal foul.
Let's watch Hunter again. He makes the steal. There's Larry Brown up and directing traffic for his team. But here Hunter makes a beautiful steal. Right here. Now, the defense is set up for him one-on-one. But see, he's got help coming right here. Number 40 filled the lane for him. That's Mark Pellick. And he could have dished it off for the easy layup. Oh, we had a great block by Anderson underneath.
Hunter, Manning, turnaround, left-handed shot is in and out. Either hand.
Oh, boy, ambidextrous, unbelievable, this guy. What an All-American player.
36-25, Kansas, 17-40 left in the basketball game. Winner meets Southwest Missouri State. Anderson jams it home, and Houston playing better at the outset of the second half. That's 10 for Anderson.
Well, they've gone man-to-man defensively, and I think it's given them a lift because they're playing harder. The intensity is there.
Down by 9 now. They tried to lob that time. They're talking about role reversal. Manning tried to lob it to the guard, Cedric Hunter, but it was tipped away in there. Ricky Jackson back in the ballgame now for Houston. Harold MacArthur sits down. Larry Brown, the Kansas coach, one of only 7 coaches who have ever taken 2 different teams to the Final Four. Did it at UCLA, and he's done it at Kansas. There's a steal. Winslow in open court. Ricky Winslow has 8, and Houston within 7 points of Kansas now.
Their
the Cougars on a run.
Their defense is starting to pay dividends for them. Pat Foster's always been known for the great defense. Good man-to-man, just like Kansas is playing. He was the assistant coach for 6 years, making 8 at Arkansas under Eddie Sutton.
Chris Piper hits his 3rd bucket of the ball game. He now has 6. The junior from Lawrence sticks it on the baseline.
And they came out thinking they had to shut down Manning. They did. They only held him to 2 baskets in the first half, but they were still down 13 points.
Anderson shot inside for Craig Anderson, and he has a dozen points now. And Houston playing much better right now than they did in the first half.
They're doing it much better. They're getting the ball inside. I mean, they're really pushing it inside to the big guy.
16:27 left in this basketball game. 38-31. Kansas by 7. Piper in the middle, lost the ball in the lane, trying to save it. Does back outside. Boy, he's been a steady player for Kansas. Started all 33 games for him. Now a walk. And Kansas turns it over. Houston down by 7 with the basketball now.
Fred, it looked like that offensive set by Kansas, though, that they didn't pick up the defense very well. Houston went out of that man, went 2-3 zone, and I think it confused Kansas just a little bit.
Keith Harris back in the ball game for the Jayhawks. Mark Phillips was down, so Larry Brown's going to a smaller lineup. He keeps looking at the clock. I think he's waiting for a timeout. Doesn't want to call one. Jackson shots in and out, and a foul called against Anderson. The first foul on Greg Anderson. He is having a good second half.
Houston going a little bit away now from their motion, and they're trying to do some different things offensively. Touring the side, kicking it inside to Anderson. Guards are trying to penetrate against the man-to-man pressure, and it's made some things happen for them, and they've kind of crawled back in here now.
And, you know, a guy like Anderson, one foul, it's good that he's not in foul trouble from the Houston standpoint because he's very aggressive defensively. He's a shot blocker. Winslow got a hand on it, couldn't hold it.
It is a 2-3 Houston zone.
And Anderson can still afford to be aggressive on the defense now. That's just one foul. Piper, Hunter, Pritchard's on the wing. Going to take the shot. That's the 2. Kevin Pritchard continues to shoot the basketball very, very well. He has 17 points. Kansas thought they had a 3-point shot that time.
Larry Brown's still up talking to him about it.
Kevin Pritchard now is 7 for 10. He missed his first 3 shots, and he has hit 7 straight.
He really picked up the slack.
The foul as the ball came inside the Winslow. He was surrounded by Jayhawks, and Keith Harris is the man they called the foul on, his first.
I say he's picked up the slack because they've done a good job on Manning.
2 substitutions here coming in the ballgame now for Houston. Darryl MacArthur checks back in along with Randy Brown. So Pat Foster changes guards. Hoppy sits down, and so does Ricky Jackson. Team foul second half. Kansas 3, Houston 2. 15-18 left in the game, and Kansas leading by 9 at the moment. Foul on Pritchard. He and Hunter were both reaching.
Kansas zoned that inbounds pass and stayed in it. And of course, penetration again. And Houston's doing a better job of getting inside that defense now to make the defense come to them from the weak side, create the openings underneath, and they are playing better, as you mentioned, Fred. No question about that at this point.
Third foul on Kevin Pritchard. Mark Turgeon set to report now to the Kansas lineup. Probably will replace Pritchard.
Well, as Pritchard's playing, they couldn't afford to lose him right now.
Winslow down inside. Pierre dumps it back in the lane. And Anderson in the shot. Good. Greg Anderson has scored 8 in the second half. 14 in the ballgame now. And Houston still trying to crawl back. Just down by 7 now with 14:49 left in the game. Piper. They haven't been able to find Manning in the offense. Now he has it on the baseline. Takes the shot. Misses. MacArthur rebounds. Here come the Cougars down by 7.
Basket here, and we could have a ball game.
Randy Brown. Winslow goes for it from long range and misses, and Piper takes it off the floor for Kansas.
Boy, have they blocked out well off the board all afternoon. They just formed a little cup in there.
Manning, top of the circle. Cedric Hunter goes to the baseline, fakes, picks up the dribble, needs some help, and finds Harris in the circle. He lost it. Tried to throw it inside, and it was batted right back out again. Piper to Hunter. 21 seconds on the shot clock. Manning from the corner, open but misses, and he's having some tough shooting. Gets his own rebound and scores.
Athletic ability, that's all it was. Missed the shot. Nobody blocked him off. He came driving back to put it in. Beautiful. Pat Foster's hollering in his team. You got to block off.
8 points now for Danny Manning. He's averaged 29 points a game for the last 13 ball games. Is that a run? There's a steal by Hunter. He's got Pritchard up there. Excellent pass to Pritchard. He takes the drive. Tough shot, won't fall for it. After 7 straight hits, Pritchard missed, but he missed a very difficult shot.
And off of another steal by Kansas and that good defense, and give Cedric Hunter the credit.
42-33 Kansas. 13:22 left in this ball game. Ricky Winslow saved the pass outside. Now Brown. MacArthur. Winslow. Anderson. Turn around. Tough shot off the baseline by Greg Anderson. 10 second half points and 16 in the game.
He's obviously playing very well now, and they need to really dribble down, clear out, get it to him, and take their chances with him because he's their big scorer and he's playing well. There's a great one-on-one move right there. The big guy.
Danny Manning now has 10, and he may be ready to roll. We'll see. 12:44 left in the game. 44-35 Kansas.
Boy, his shot is quick release.
Brown took the baseline, lost the ball, and it's out of bounds to Kansas. The Jayhawks come up with another turnover, and we have a timeout taken in. 12 minutes, 36 seconds left in this basketball game. We're at the Omni in Atlanta, Southeast Regional action, and Kansas leading Houston 44-35.
Watch big number 54, Greg Anderson, fight for shape on the inside. See him here, the big guy. He's their leading scorer. Right here, a good pass from Vieira. Boy, beautiful touch, bottom of the sack. Now let's watch Manning. He puts up the outside shot. Vieira tried to get it, didn't. Anderson went for it, but he followed with that great athletic ability. Brought it back to the hole and laid it in.
Danny Manning now has hit 5 out of 11 shots in this basketball game, and he has 10 points. Greg Anderson now has 10 points in the second half, 16. Kansas has hit 5 out of 14 shots in the second half. Houston better than that at 6 for 9. Anderson is at 7 out of 10 shots.
You see the field goal shooting, 42 by Houston the first half, 67 the second half. That's why they've crawled back in it. Kansas not shooting as well.
No, they fell off to 52% at halftime, just 36% in the second half. Great feed to Turgeon on the back door. Oh, did Hunter hit him?
And they opened up man-to-man defensively. He brought the ball to him, backdoored him, and what a pass. He got 5 assists in the first half, Fred.
Now Kansas up by 11 again with 12-12 left in the game. Winner of this one plays Southwest Missouri State Sunday here in the Omni. The Bears advance with a 5-point win over Clemson. Turgeon got the steal. On up to Hunter. 2.
Defense, defense, defense. That's what it's been all afternoon. The Jayhawks. Boy, they look sharp.
Now Cedric Hunter has 4 points off the feed from Turgeon, so they help one another out, and all of a sudden Kansas has restored order here. They're up by 13. MacArthur, Anderson in the lane scores. Well, he's having a great second half. 12 in the second half and 18 in the ball game. Whistle stops play here. There's some perspiration on the floor in the lane where one of the players hit the deck. Now 11:41 left in the game. Kansas with the basketball and an 11-point lead as you look at Pat Foster, the Houston coach in his first year at the helm of the Cougars.
Dean Smith, head basketball coach at North Carolina, Kansas graduate, has had so many. He's had a lot of effect on a lot of young coaches in the business because Larry Brown worked under him and played for him. You see a lot of run and jump defensively by the Kansas team where they'll trap along the sideline just very quickly.
There's the lob to Manning. He can't make the catch. He and Anderson duel for the ball. It's out of bounds, and it's going to be Kansas basketball. They say Anderson touched it last.
Because that's what Kansas did that last time they got that steal. He trapped along that sideline, and Cedric Hunter with an easy layup at the other end.
Kansas cheerleaders wound up with the basketball down there. Keith Harris, top of the circle. Manning off on the wing. Takes the jump shot and sticks it. And Danny Manning has it going now in the second half. 8 in the second half. 12 in the ball game for Manning. And the Jayhawks up by 13 with 11:15 to play.
Houston totally man-to-man defensively that time. Anderson was guarding Manning. He just kind of faked him down and just stuck it in. Boy, and the big guy makes a steal.
And look at him handle the ball in open court. And look at the pass to Harris. Was it a goaltend?
Boy, it was close. A lot of people here wanted it. You can hear the roar behind it.
It is called a clean block. Good defensive play by Houston, and now a foul called at the other end of the floor. I'll let you referee a little bit here.
This is why this guy's an All-American. He makes the steal from Anderson underneath. He's trying to try to go coast to coast with it. Watch this pass now. Oh, what a pass underneath. I don't know. Probably a pretty good block. Awfully close, though.
Awfully close. Couldn't fault the official. By the way, we have seen good officiating. Excellent both games here this afternoon. 50-37 Kansas, 10:49 left in the game. Vieira fires from the outside. He doesn't play like a guy 7'1", does he? He's a perimeter player.
He loves to take that outside shot. He mentioned he played on the Brazilian national team.
Kansas leading by 13, 10:34 left in the game.
They've gone totally man-to-man now again.
Piper. Harris. Outside Hunter. Turgeon to Piper. Good ball movement by Kansas. Manning got tangled up. Harris fired the ball down the lane, and Danny Manning got tangled up, maybe held.
He tripped him a little bit. Looked like he got tangled in his feet, and the pass would have been perfect. What a beautiful play.
They really ran their stuff well.
Beautiful.
They got tangled up at the end of it. 10:07 left in the game.
Houston's trying to overplay a lot defensively, and Kansas know it, so they got a lot of backdoor cuts.
Anderson. It's going to be a jump ball, and the possession belongs to Houston.
Good weak side help defensively.
Danny Manning getting it done on defense also.
Watch it again. They finally get it inside right here to big Greg Anderson. You saw Piper trying to front. And, of course, there came the weak side help. And who else? Danny Manning.
He had the ball twice, actually. Put back and got it again. Now Keith Harris sits down. Milton Newton back in the lineup for Kansas. Hobby in the lane, Anderson. He's been the man in the second half for Houston. A dozen second-half points for the Cougars. Hobby going for three. Off the front of the rim. Rebound fought for, and Milton Newton takes it away for Kansas. And look at him, looked up court. They've got Turgeon on the wing.
Hobby, an excellent outside shooter for Houston, but he's shooting under a lot of pressure in there. It's Hunter who was wide open and drilled it.
Cedric Hunter got it too. Murray Brown just said no fouls, no fouls. Cedric Hunter has a half dozen points now. Kansas by 15, 9:25 to play. If you look at fouls in the second half, Kansas has committed 5, Houston only 2. Anderson got double teamed, fires to Hobby. He goes for a 3 and misses, and Piper takes the rebound away, and Kansas has it rolling at the moment. Hunter, great dish. Good move. Acrobatic shot goes up, won't fall, and the tip is good, and I think Cedric Hunter got the tip.
I think he did too.
Great effort by Kansas.
Beautiful pass on the transition. Ball there running at you.
17-point lead for Kansas. And Houston forced to take a timeout here. The Jayhawks have it going in the Omni. 8:57 left in this game. Timeout now. Kansas leads Houston 54-37. So you see Kansas with a slight rebounding advantage, 25-19 over Houston so far in this ballgame.
Fred, you do the great fast breaking when you really make good transition baskets. You do it by the turnovers and when you make the good conversion, but you do it with great rebounding. Kansas leads on the boards, and then you got to have the good outlet pass. You saw it there to the man who pulls the trigger for this Kansas team, Hunter, and he made the great pass. His man missed it. What's he do? He shoots the gap and tips it in. What an afternoon he's had. He hasn't scored a lot, but he's made everything else happen for this team. They're up 54-37. They have not been playing as great as they had in the middle part of the year. As I mentioned to you, they lost 3 of their last 5, 4 of their last 8. They needed the good game to have some momentum here in the tournament. They look razor sharp here this afternoon against the Houston Cougars.
Well, I'm beginning to wonder if Larry Brown may have a rule that if you've got the ball that close to the basket, go ahead and take a shot, even if you can't get a good one. Just get the ball in the glass and let us come storming after the rebound. Jackson hits a 3 that time.
Well, it's a good point because no one's dished it off when they've been 1 against 1 or even 2 against 1. Whoever has the ball has taken it all the way to the basket and tried to put it in. They've had a lot of success doing it.
And they put up some very difficult acrobatic shots on the drives down there.
Interesting thing here, Kansas has gone to a 3-2 spread offense against the man-to-man defensive pressure.
Well, they got the clock on their side. Danny Manning didn't see the ball coming, but now they win the loose ball situation. To Hunter it goes.
What does Manning see the court? He just reads everybody.
Brown got a hand on it, but Hunter able to save it. Hunter's going to take the drive, and it's not going to fall for him.
Well, he shot the gap, though. Beautiful drive up the gut and gets that 3-2. See, the 3-2 opens up the middle, so you can make a lot of things happen inside.
Winslow, Brown.
That means nobody's playing the post. That's been one of their weaknesses. They've never had a really great post play all year long in the paint. Manning more of a perimeter-type player, more of a forward.
Ricky Winslow picks up his 10th point. Now with 7:31 left, it's a 12-point lead to Kansas.
Just like it looks like they're going to blow them completely away. They come back with 5 unanswered points.
Now let's see what Kansas does. Looks like they're going to run some clock now for a while. They have time on their side. 7:17 left in the game. 54-42. Backdoor cut to Hunter, and that's going to be a foul and a basket. It's going to count as a goaltending. Hunter got the backdoor again.
I think the ball maybe even bounced in as well, but the basket's good. Watch it again on the back door. Right there. Beautiful cut against the man-to-man defense. They've got the court spread. You saw Winslow come across trying to reject it from the weak side. He got there, but just a little bit too late. Of course, substitutes for Kansas. Number 24, Chris Piper, is back in.
And Scooter Berry. Rick Berry's son is ready to come in. Substitution now for Houston. Darryl MacArthur coming back in. And Randy Brown will sit down. Cedric Hunter going to the line. He has 8 second-half points, 10 in the ball game. He has had trouble at the line. 52% free throw shooter. That one's off the rim. Winslow had a hand on it, now chases it down. And it's 56-42 Kansas now with 7:08 left in the ball game. Turgeon against Jackson. Over here to MacArthur. Down the baseline, Anderson. Boy, they've really been looking. That's not Anderson, excuse me. That's Stacy Belcher is in there now. They've really been looking for Anderson in the second half. Winslow, Jackson from way outside. Three-point try won't go. Turgeon grabs the rebound and immediately looked up court. Newton had it in the corner all alone. Now takes it to the basket. Off-balance shot won't fall for it. Rebound, Houston. Anderson peeled it off there. Well, Kansas is aggressive, aren't they?
Oh, they really are. Pecking at you with those hands all the time and just keep coming at you. Love the defensive pressure that they've applied here today. They really have. That's been the whole ball game. They have really taken Houston out of their offense. Houston now trying to shoot the three-point shot. Houston doesn't like to run. They want a half-court game, but they're being forced now to try to get some transition basketball going to get back in this game.
6 minutes, 2 seconds left in the contest. Hunter drives the baseline, takes the tough shot, and hits.
What a tough guy he is. I mean, he showed them the ball. Defense left their feet, and he drove around. And again, that court is spread and has really opened up the attack for the Kansas Jayhawks.
Cedric Hunter has become a 1,000-point career scorer in this ballgame, by the way. The senior from Omaha South. He also came into this game with 665 career assists. Chris Piper got hit and is down.
I think they called a deliberate foul underneath.
Scooter Berry now checks into the Kansas lineup. Piper obviously in some pain.
I think they called a deliberate foul against Anderson for the Houston Cougars against Piper. And I think we're going to go to the other end and see Kansas shoot 2 free throws at their end. Let's see if we can pick it up.
That was on Greg.
Right there. See, he popped him with his elbow. Did you see that on the replay? He popped him. Wham. He really popped him and knocked the wind out of him, and that's why he's down on the court. We're going to shoot 2. I don't know if they threw Anderson out of the game, but Pat Foster, the head coach of Houston Cougars, immediately took him out.
Second foul on Anderson, and he's sitting on the bench right now. And Piper, on his feet, is going to shoot the free throws.
Right there. I'm surprised he didn't really call a technical foul because it was a very deliberate. He just elbowed him and popped him real good, and Piper right here will shoot 2 fouls on an intentional call.
Well, Piper's a tough kid. He gets off the deck and hits a free throw. He now has 7. He started all 33 games for Kansas this year. Appearing in his 8th NCAA tournament game in his career here today. Boy, that's a tough kid. Gets up and hits those free throws, and now Kansas back up by 16 points with 5:38 left in this game. Jackson. Brown. Turgeon playing tough defense out on the wing against him. Now they kick it down inside. Belcher right back out with it. Jackson going for 3, is short with a try. Gets his own rebound. Now he's going to take the shot to lane and miss. And Piper with another tough rebound, but he hits the deck and loses it. And Winslow takes it up and scores.
And Piper's really been taking a pounding. He got hit in the stomach, knocked the wind out of him. He went down on the court after he got the rebound and lost it. People were walking on him.
He must feel like he's playing on the football team today.
He's got to be sore.
Ricky Winslow has 14 points now for Houston. Turgeon with the basketball. 4:52 left in the game. Scooter Berry tried to throw a bounce pass along the baseline. It was kicked out of bounds, and Kansas will play it in from the baseline with 4:50 left in the game, leading by 14 points. So the Jayhawks continue to control the ball game. Timeout here. 4 minutes, 50 seconds left in the game. 60-46, Kansas leading Houston. Hope you're enjoying this NCAA Productions telecast from the Omni in Atlanta. First round action in the Southeast Regional, the NCAA tournament. Red White along with Joe Dean and Kansas in command here, leading Houston by a 60-46 count. Houston took the lead early in the ball game, up by 4, held the lead for 5 or 6 minutes, and then Kansas has really played well from that point on.
In fact, they went on an 18-4 run, and you see go KU.
You might wonder what a Jayhawk is. It's a mythical bird.
Well, I've heard Hawk Chalk Jayhawk all my life.
Hawk Chalk Jayhawk.
Hawk Chalk Jayhawk. You see the turnovers, Houston, 12 in the first half, 5 in the second half, 17 and just 9 for Kansas.
I tell you hear that in Allen Field as that Rock Chalk Jayhawk chant. Kansas has won 48 straight games at home. Danny Manning's recruiting class has never lost a game at home in Allen Fieldhouse. 48 straight they've won there now. There's Urchin off the backdoor, put up a chase shot, missed it, rebounded by Vieira.
With excellent backdoor cuts against that man pressure defense of the Houston Cougars. It's really helped them.
They're really taking advantage of what Houston's giving them, and now Harris with a steal, trying to color it now in open court, and he chased it all the way out of bounds and in the photographers. And Steve Harris at the end of the long journey came away unhappy.
Harris, oh, what great effort is right. He's beautiful anticipation. Saw the pass coming, stepped in the passing lane, and made the steal. He just couldn't control the ball. That's the defense that you've seen all afternoon here from Kansas. It's been the whole story of this basketball game.
4 minutes, 9 seconds left in this game. Kansas leading by 14 points. Foul at the baseline, and that's going to go against Houston's Jerome Brewer, who is holding a player at the baseline. Southwest Missouri State beat Clemson 65-60 in the first game here today. The winner of this one plays the Bears on Sunday. 2 more games to go here in the Omni tonight. Ohio State, Kentucky, and Georgetown, Bucknell. And Georgetown perhaps playing as well as anybody in the country right now, Joe.
And there's Coach Pat Foster. He's sort of sitting back and saying, you know, what can I do? They were in that motion offense, and Brewer moved with his pick. And, of course, teams that run the motion do a lot of moving on their picking, and it's very obvious right in front of the official. He picked it up.
Cedric Hunter against Jackson. What Pat Foster can do and will do is recruit. And this Houston ball club will be back in the NCAA again. It's just his first year at the helm in Houston.
I like the composure of Big Manning on the court. He doesn't let things rattle him. And you see his father there sitting next to him.
It's bigger Manning.
That's the bigger Manning, right? But Danny Manning really plays with such poise. He has control of himself. He's a great one.
Jackson. Cedric Hunter. Here comes the break again. Hunter. Great chase to Manning. Great chase back, and Piper picks it up and scores.
Beautiful passing by the Jayhawks. Boy, did Hunter push it up.
2 outstanding passes in one sequence. And Piper wound up with his 10th point of the afternoon. Kansas now leading by 16. Vieira hits the rebound shot. Rolando Vieira now has 6. 3 minutes, 1 second left in the basketball game. Well, Danny Manning almost had a backdoor that time. They thought about the lob and didn't do it. Now Pritchard. He's been pretty quiet in the second half. Kevin Pritchard has 2 points in this half. He had 15 in the first half here today. When they couldn't get Danny Manning the basketball, Kevin Pritchard shot his team into the lead.
Well, Houston was in that gimmick defense, and he was open, and he shot it in. He opened the game open. He made the difference.
Boy, Manning gets that shot away in a hurry. He came up short with it that time, but he doesn't hesitate. 2:27 left in the game. Kansas by 14. Vieira fires from outside and misses. Winslow with a strong offensive rebound takes it up and scores. He has 16 points now.
Houston going and allowing 68 points a game. With their defense has been good, and the game has been at about the level that Pat Foster wanted it. He just has not been able to solve the Kansas defense to do any scoring.
Piper wide open in the circle, and the shot off the heel of the rim. Rebound, Cedric Hunter wins it long, and he got hit in the face. May have been hit in the eye. He was hit in the face there, and the officials very quickly stopping play here with 1:58 left in the game. Winslow got a hand on that rebound, but couldn't hold on, and Cedric Hunter was able to go up and take it away from him.
Watch it again. Piper will shoot the wide open jumper. Can't get it to go. Long rebound, and who else? Cedric Hunter picks up the loose ball. And they've picked up most of the loose balls here this afternoon. They've played the good defense. They've hit the open man. They've had good backdoor cuts in the second half. They've boarded well. They've run the transition. They've looked like a big-time college basketball team that could win some games. And this Florida's leading by 1 against NC State in the second half in Syracuse.
Gators' first trip to the NCAA tournament. Piper.
See, they're in that delay game now where they've got the court spread. Pass and go away. Pass and go away. Middle open. Everybody cuts, and the guy with the ball looks for the cutter. And you see the clock. That's what they're doing. They're working the clock. We're down to 10 seconds now on the shot clock.
1:24 left in the game. 7 seconds on the shot clock. They're not even looking right now. Now Turgeon does. Steps in, fires it off. On the wing. On the rim, won't go. Manning tipped it twice. Well, that was Milt Newton that got in there to tip, and it wouldn't go down. Now a minute 9 left in the game. Kansas still leading by a dozen. Houston's going to try a 3. Missed it. And the ball loose on the floor. Here's Hunter. He's got Milt Newton up there. He's trying to run it to it. Taken away in there. Newton steals it and hits the shot.
Beautiful hustle. Hunter's pass would have been spectacular. It just wasn't quite high enough. In Houston now, everybody taking a three-point shot, and Winslow hits a three-point basket for the Houston Cougars.
Winslow's had a great second half. 13 points in the second, 19 in the ballgame now. 11-point lead to Kansas. 35 seconds left in this game, and the Jayhawks are going to advance to play Southwest Missouri State on Sunday. These two schools are not located that far apart. 41, Ricky Winslow. Whistled for a foul here. At 8 o'clock, 26 seconds left.
That'll be an interesting game because both teams, Southwest Missouri, boy, did he pick up the loose ball. It was just floating out there, and he exploded with his quickness and speed to get it. He was trying to play lob dunk. He just didn't throw it fast enough. The player was really stepping on was on the inline there, and the official didn't see it because he was trying to pick up all the action in front of him.
Danny Manning created the turnover. He got the hand on the ball. Now, Mark Randall checks into the lineup for Kansas. Scooter Berry coming back in. Chris Piper going to take a well-earned rest here. Chris had a good day. He had 10 points, and he got beat around in one sequence down there pretty good, so he's probably ready for some rest. Scooter Berry handling the inbounds pass. Lobs it outside, picked up there by Randall. Newton deep on the wing. 21 seconds left in the game. Scooter Berry brings it back out to the top. Into the lane it goes. Good dish inside to Newton.
Excellent pass. He learned his lessons well in the backyard from Papa. Great pass.
MacArthur. Blocked by Milt Newton. With 3 seconds left in the game.
Good ball defense. Everybody came to the ball to shut it down and trap it. I've been impressed with the Jayhawks. They look sharp here this afternoon.
Well, it was emphatic, but it wasn't enough. Kansas wins it 66-55 as Ricky Winslow gets a slam. But the Jayhawks advance now, and they will play Southwest Missouri State on Sunday here at the Omni in Atlanta. As the Bears defeated Clemson earlier today, Kansas takes the measure of Houston here, 66-55. The Jayhawks defeat the Cougars, and we'll be back with post-game comments after this.